What is going on, everybody? Welcome to some RSL action. We're getting into our first match of the round of 8, and I could not be more excited here. We got CVT, no better matchup to kick it off, and we got Barks, and we got Rath. Without further ado, let's introduce these boys. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Kairos Junction is the orange Terran player. It is Rath. And spawning down here in the bottom right-hand side of Kairos Junction, it's the red Zerg player Barks. I think I have to turn off my sound. 1 second. Oh, nope, there it is. So anyway, this, again, like I said, is a best of 5 between these guys, so a lot of games to play with. Rath, definitely the more vanilla player. I feel like he's going to try and approach these pretty standard, pretty safe. Barks, I know he's been putting a lot of thought into this series, and I also know that he's somebody who can pull out the cheekster builds, and he's not necessarily going to try and play Rath straight up in every one of these games, and that very much excites me, because I think that's probably the best way for somebody to play a best of 5. Now, one of the things that we can automatically assume in all of these games is that Rath is going to be going mech. We know that. Yeah, oh yeah. Do you think Rath will go mech, says Renegade? Yes, yes I do. Barks, on the other hand, you know, I think it's going to be up to him, like usual with the Zerg, to be the one that reacts. You know, are we going to see Nidus play? Are we going to see Roach Hydra? Are we going to see Mutas? Are we going to see Swarm Hosts? I feel like Barks has a little bit more in his bag of tricks here, and he's going to be trying to break down the solid wall that is Rath. Now, while I do say that, anybody that's been watching Starcraft recently has known that the traditional mech play has pretty much kind of been almost taken over by this new brand of battle mech with, you know, blue flame Hellions and Cyclones. And while I know Rath, he's a traditionalist, you know, he's an old man, he's stuck in his ways. He does prefer that old style. I've seen him to pretty good effect use the Hellions and the Cyclones as well. And so far, we're seeing very, very standard builds out of these guys. Fast expand here from Barks, 4 links for safety, and then all drones. Rath getting that CC on the high ground, his quick double gas, and getting ready to go into those reactored Hellions with the factory behind it. Now, I'm going to guess that it's going to be probably Hellion Banshee, just because that's Rath's bread and butter in the early game here. But the guy I'm really looking at right now is Barks, you know. And here, this is exactly why. 3 minutes in, there's a lair and a second gas. Now that is far, far from a standard timing for that. You know, no third. Normally this would be about when he was trying to establish his third base. And instead of that, we're seeing additional gas and the lair, which means there's going to be some kind of lair tech timing. And were I a betting man, I would say that we're probably going to see a Nidus this game. Rath going to take the low ground so far, has not really been able to scout much of anything, and I think it almost might be worth, you know, dropping the scan. Or at least sending these Hellions out on the map to get the timing of the third base. You know, you really, especially I think when you're a player that's confident in your macro, want to make sure you check all your boxes in terms of scouting. There are 2 more gases, which actually makes me think it might be Mutalisks off of 4 gas, which could be very, very strong if Rath, you know, does not prepare for it. Where's the tech building? Where is it? There's the Viking coming out for Rath, still waiting for 6 Hellions before he even pushes out on the map. Overseer, where is that? Oh, I guess it got canceled. Yep, cancels the Overseer. There's the Spire. Okay, so it's a little bit late here from Barks, but it is going to be 2 base Mutalisks. And now this all comes down to how quickly Rath can find this out. If he finds it out, Barks is in a little bit of a tricky scenario. He's stuck on 2 bases. His economy is not the greatest, but if these Mutas blindside him, there's nothing coming out that shoots up anytime soon. And here comes the timing. This is actually going to be Hellbats. He turns them all into Hellbats. There's 3 queens. They're going to start taking some shots at this Banshee. It gets really low very quickly. The Spine Crawler is holding strong. He's going to rotate around to the third base. Oh, wait, there is no third base. And now the alarm bells have to be ringing for Rath, because no third base means there's something coming his way. And again, without the scanning, without going into the main, oh, he does scan the main, but there's only the lair in the main. The Spire's in the natural. He still doesn't know. I guess he scouted the front and he hasn't seen a Roach Warren. I think he can safely assume it's Spire, and it looks like he has made that assumption. 2 turrets in the main, 1 in the natural. Not at all an overcommitment, as this style is not super anti-air early on. And there's going to be a lot of Mutalisks coming out here for Barks. Actually, yeah, 8. 8 Mutas on the way along with the third base. And it's great that he's got these turrets up, but I don't think that's enough to completely mitigate the damage, as they're really only affecting or defending parts of these mineral lines. And if he can, you know, pick off stray SCVs, pick off stray units, and really pin Rath back on 2 bases, and he has time to get this third up and running, he could put himself in a great spot, but didn't even see that. 2 Thors on the way. You know, Rath did not scout this quickly, but it's a good thing he saw it when he did, as it looks like he is going to be able to prepare for this well enough. Scan goes down. That doesn't see the Spire even, does it? No, it doesn't see the Spire. Oh, that sucks. That sucks a lot. I think he's kind of assumed at this point. I think he's kind of assumed. Roach is going to be the follow-up. I'm guessing we're going to start seeing the upgrades coming on in here. Oh, here come the Mutas immediately getting tagged by the Thors, though. Oh, no. I don't think any of them... No, I don't think any of them went down, but so many softened up right away for no damage. And, you know, these Lings kind of rotating around looking for a counter, but they're not going to find it. And it looks like Rath, this is so smart, wants to get aggressive. He says, okay, you're not going to have Roaches left. Your Mutas are super low. I'm going to push across with a bunch of SCVs, a bunch of Hellbats, and 2 Thors. These Thors should be able to shut down these Mutas, and the Hellbats, you know, pretty soon to have Blue Flame are going to shut down anything on the ground. And it's only drones at the production tab for Barks. I don't know, boys and girls. This looks pretty disastrous so far. Roaches are starting to come out now, but it's only 3 of them. Oh, no. This queen is immediately going to go down. These Hellbats are going to start working on the hatchery. The rest of the army playing back, staying away from this Spore Crawler, as he wants to keep this Banshee and these Vikings alive. But here comes the heavy hitters, the Thors, getting into the fight, and this third base is absolutely massacred. Scanning up here sees, uh-oh, you really don't have enough to defend. The Sparks is going to go for a counterattack with the Mutas, but there's still 2 Thors at home. With this this turret here, he might be able to delay the third command center, but that's totally fine. Rath right now is totally happy to stay 2 base on 2 base, and it's not even going to be 2 base on 2 base for too long, because Rath is storming into the natural. The Muta's working on some of the add-ons, but they're getting shelled at by Thors, and across the map, there's nothing to stop this wall of Hellbats and Thors, and oh my gosh, oh, the absolute roasting. 16 drones go down. More to follow. Vikings even landing, as all the Mutas across the map, I believe, have been cleaned up except for 1. And there's maybe... No, I don't even think. Maybe if he rallies and he kites really well, he can possibly hold on. But at what cost? Just everything is going down. Taking a look at the worker count, he's down to 46. He's lost every base. He's still got this one, I guess, that he built over there. But just a perfect timing here by Rath. You know, he saw that the Mutas were deflected. He knew that his opponent wanted to be building drones, and instead he says, okay, you want to be building drones, you're not going to have a lot of Roaches. And this attack is held, but like I said, damage more than done. Barks, I think, realizing that he's in a really, really tough spot, is going to try and counterattack. But with what? 8 Roaches? 8 Roaches are going to get laughed at by these 2 tanks alone, let alone the Thors that are with them. Here we go. Oh, just brutal. Brutal. The entire attack is destroyed, and Barks is going to play it out because he's got heart, he's got spirit, but he does not have much of a chance at coming back into this one. And Rath, I think, has realized, alright, I don't need to do anything fancy. I just need to be my normal Rath self and just keep macroing, macroing, macroing. And yeah, we see even a 4th CC coming up. He's just going to keep making tanks, Hellbats, maybe a few more Thors getting upgrades, and there's just no way that Barks can keep up at this point. He's still trying to reestablish this natural, and yeah. This one, this would be a legendary comeback were it to happen. Hyperflight rotors even. So that's actually a pretty cool call if he wants to really put a pin in it. Just say, okay, I'm going to get speed banshees and you're never, ever, ever going to be able to leave your base. We are seeing an infestation pit, Hydralisk Den, and roaches and ravagers coming out along with +2, and I almost think this is more than Barks can afford. He does have a decent gas bank. Oh no, 8 more drones going down as Hellions run into the third base. Ugh. Worker count 37 to 67. Rath's just gonna... Oh, nope. He's a merciful Rath, and he will allow that tumor to live. The creep spread is pretty good, but I think that this game is going to last until Rath's next push. There's just too much here. Too much here. Hive coming up, maybe for a Hail Mary Broodlord play, but I mean, with the Thor count that's already out, he's going to be able to deal with, you know, the number of mutas that Barks is going to be able to make on a depleted economy. And oh, he's even going to run into the natural, it looks like. Oh, where are the roaches? Not in position. And the barbecue continues. Ugh. More and more drones dying. 11 in total, 12 in total, sorry, and one of the Hellions even gets out. Yeah. Wow, super smart play there from Rath. I mean, it's tough to really comment on the rest of this game just because he's gotten himself in such a big lead. I think this push is definitely going to end the game, but I just have to give him props for that early push. I mean, I was worried because he scouted that Spire super late, but when he did, he didn't even see the Spire, but he intuited from what he saw, which is, you know, something that you'll see good players are able to do, and after he deflected it, he responded perfectly with his next timing. And he is reaping the fruits of that with a 100 supply lead as this mech army marches on gloriously to victory. Tanks or roaches and ravagers are going to, I guess, counterattack? Or no, they're going to go behind here, it looks like. But again, even when he's this far ahead, Rath making sure to play it safe, not just going to A-move in, he's going to continue his tank line, and oh no, oh, he's going to be able to bile some of these down, but ugh. Just a really rough spot. GG, well played is called. And Rath is going to take the first game here in this best of 5. Okay. I'm going to throw up my overlay very briefly here while we figure out what the next map is, and we'll be right back. boys and girls. We're back. We're here. We're ready for map number 2 in this best of 5. In the top right-hand corner, the orange Terran player up 1-0. It is Rathorn. And his opponent down in the bottom left, the pink Zerg. It is Barks. And I liked that I liked the opening from Barks. Now I know, we kind of watched it out and I think Rath reacted well enough that it didn't really work out. But I mean, that is one of those timings that can give you a huge advantage if you are able to catch the Terran player off guard. And so in a game number 1, is it, a slight gamble? Sure. But is it one that can pay off very, very well and really put the fear in your opponent for the rest of the series? Also true. Mutas, one of the, as since the dawn of mech, mutas have been one of the things that Terrans are afraid of in the early game just because they want to be building tanks, and tanks don't shoot up. They don't. They're very good against ground, but they do not shoot up. And so now you have to think that even with the win, Rath might be a little bit worried every single game here going forward on, is it going to be mutas? Should I drop that extra scan? Should I throw down the turrets? And, in a game that can be a little bit tight, a little bit close, these are things and worries that can make a difference. And, oh, actually, Bark says, no, you don't get to scout me, bro. This is my base. This is my base, boy. Stay on your own lawn. Takes out that scouting SCV with a nice drone pool. But also, to be fair, at least so far, he's not really hiding anything. Now, it may worry his opponent that he doesn't get the scout, but we know that we can see everything. And it looks all standard all the time from both of these guys. The CC on the high ground expand from Rath and Barks, doing nothing crazy, getting his hatchcast pool up, getting his queens out, getting those 4 safety lings, and then gonna start droning on up. Now, is he going to pull out of gas now that he's gotten a circling speed? And it looks like the answer is no, which leads me to believe that we might see a more tech-oriented build once again from Barks. Perhaps Nidus this time, maybe Mutas again. But I think that if he was gonna go for, the 3-minute third base and try and super establish that economy, that likely we would see him pull out of this gas. We don't see that, so we're gonna keep an eye on the build of old Barksy boy. But again, I mean, this is just as classic Rath as it gets. CC on the high ground. I'm gonna play this super safe and try and get the game where I feel comfortable, which is the mid to late game. And yep, there is the lair. This looks like the same build. Lair and the gas going down around the same time. Droning up. If he gets these 2 assimilators pretty soon, I'm gonna say this almost looks like the same build. And I'm interested to see if Rath will be able to get a beat on it again. Yep, there's the 2 gases. I think he's going 2 base Mito once again. And the question is will Rath get a beat on it, and will Rath expect him to do the same thing twice in a row? Will he assume he's doing the same thing twice in a row? It's a little bit of a tricky situation, but it's all going to come down to the scouting for Rath, making sure he IDs that there's no third base, and yep, there's the Spire. Once again, gassing up his entire base, getting that Spore Crawler as he knows that Rath loves him of some Banshees. And looks like I said, textbook Rath. I'm going to wait for my 6 Hellions, and I'm going to push out on the map with this armory so he can turn them into Hellbats and do a little bit of a push. Now, I do think that he could maybe, send 4 of the 4 Hellions out initially and scout around for the third base just to get that extra information and still do the timing that he wants. Just don't commit with them anywhere. But it looks like he's not chosen to do that, and instead he's going to try and dive. Is he going to dive into the natural? It looks like he's not, and actually getting a ton of hull damage done on these Hellions initially. That is not a worthwhile trade. Gets no drones, loses 2 Hellions, another one very injured, sends this Banshee into the main, and he still hasn't checked the third. Okay, at this point he sees that the lair is done, and that has to trigger some warning signs for him. Does he have an engineering bay? No. There's no engineering bay. There it is now. Now it started. But as opposed to the, you know, the turrets being started at this time, now the engineering bay is started. Maybe he forgot. Maybe he didn't expect the mutas again, but I gotta say, I think this looks better for Barks in this game than it did in the last. This initial push is completely deflected before they even turn into Hellbats, and the turrets are later. They still haven't been started. The engineering bay just now finishes. Now he starts the turrets, but the question is, will they be up in time as these mutas are flying across the map? And Barks is taking a supply lead. He's getting his third base up. No Thors out this time. This is an entirely different ball game for these Mutalisks. Oh my gosh, they're going to get in right as this initial missile turret finishes. He can't dive into the mineral line, but he can be super annoying outside of it. He's going to start picking off units, picking off add-ons, taking off depots, anything he can. These Thors are just now started. These SCVs are huddling around that turret, not mining. Oh, now they get back to mining, but there goes one tech lab. There goes another, and like I said, this is just a far cry from these mutas last game where they just got completely deflected. This time we're seeing an entirely different result. It looks like he's going to pick off this depot too. I do think that maybe he could attack the refinery, try and get some splashdown, kill some SCVs, but even still, some nice damage. These Thors are going to be out now momentarily. He might be able to get one more add-on. Will he? Yep, looks like he will. And he will not lose a muta for it. So far, 4 lings lost in that early exchange, but besides that, some nice damage. Nothing game-ending, but some nice damage. And behind this, Barks has droned up the third base. He's going into roach speed. He's going into +1. I think a pretty flawless transition out of this. Ooh, these 2 Widow Mines are well placed in a weird spot where Barks isn't going to see it coming. Boom, boom, there go a lot of them. And oh no. Oh, they're actually in single shot mode. So these Widow Mines will be cleaned up, but actually there go pretty much all of the mutas. There's only 3 left, so not really trading them out in the best way. Rath kind of getting a little bit fortunate because they ran into the Widow Mines and then having the Thors ready there. But that effectively eliminates the muta threat, as three mutas, not the most dangerous. But as we know, this is not Barks' long-term game plan. He is going up into roaches. He's going up into infestation pit. So I really like this game plan. Like the mutas, great for forcing out Thors. Thors great against Mutalisks. Terrible against high numbers of roaches. They will get absolutely slaughtered. And because of this, and of all the add-ons lost, this tank count is way late. It's way behind. And a high tank count is really what he needs to try and establish this third base, which means, end result, this third base, way late. Way late. I don't know. Wait, did he make 2? He made 2 infestation pits. I think that might be a mistake. Maybe he wants to get the energy upgrade and neural parasite at the same time. I doubt it, though. 2 more bases coming up here for Barks. Rath still gearing up. He does not have the tools that he needs to get out on the map right now. He needs more tanks. And frankly, he doesn't have them yet. Barks, I think, could maybe push this creep spread out a little bit quicker, as that is super useful versus mech. You know, the further away from you make them siege up, the better. But still, roaches and ravagers on the production line. And here, we're having a pause. Getting back into the game, see if maybe this clears up a little bit here for Barks as he starts to clear out these rocks in the middle of the map, which I like. It allows you to get better surrounds, better flanks off on those tanks, while he just gears up for this endgame army. And an endgame army it's going to be as the hive starts to come up here, and he's looking for an angle. There's only 2 tanks. There's only 2 tanks, or 3, but only 2 of them are sieged. Here come the Biles. They are going to absolutely murder this low tank count, and he's going to start killing Thors. And you might say, you know, I think Rath's going to hold off this army. He probably will. But this entire mech composition is based on building up a death army, and you can't do that if you're trading units for roaches and ravagers. It looks like a nice dodge on those last bios, but 12 SCVs, a bunch of Thors, and I think 2 or 3 tanks get cleaned up. And taking a look at the income, it's actually not as far ahead for Barks as I thought it would be. He really needs to start droning up this 4th base. Yeah, he's only got 61 workers. So still a good trade. I do think, like I said, he needs to get that economy really, really strong. These 2 Banshees are going to come up and kill this base probably. There's no Hydras out that I know of. But that's honestly okay. Barks has this base up. He still really needs these gases number 7 and 8. But he'll have to make do without for now. 10 Ravagers and 14 Roaches on the production tab. 7 drones actually going down, putting Barks at 55. This is a really, actually shockingly weak economy for a 4-base Zerg. He needs more drones. I like the trades he's making, and this is a tough army, but he does not really have the economic powerhouse to back this up. Viper's now on the way, but he can only make 2. I mean, I think he can afford to sack this base, but he just really, really, really needs to fully mine out this base, be fully mining on this base, and to get, you know, saturation on this base as well. Trickling drones out now is Barks. Actually takes out one of these Banshees. That's a nice pickup. And, you know, these 2 Vipers are going to be annoying, but I feel like he might have let Rath back into the game a little bit here. You know, he did such a great job with those initial mutas. And I think even with that trade with the Roaches, but just really not economically capitalizing on it in the way that he could have. Right now we see it's 72 workers to 56. That is oversaturation for Rath, but I mean, it's Rath. He always likes to make more SCVs. And now that he's going to take this 4th, it is no longer oversaturation. Now it's going to be a solid 4-base economy, which means that a lot of mech units can be made on that. A lot of mech units. Looks like we are seeing actually the adrenal glands coming out here. Ooh, it looks like Barks may be about to put pressure on this base, but these are sieged up tanks. These are sieged up tanks. I think if he could go up on this high ground, there's 1 tank defending this. There's 1 tank. He could do that, and I think he could probably bust down that planetary with biles around the edge, but does not take advantage of that just yet. But I really think that Rath needs to spread his army out over here, as right now Roaches and Hydras could run up, kill this tank, and just crap on this planetary very, very fast, and that would be a big blow to the eco. It would be a huge blow. So far, where are those Vipers? So those Vipers are up at full energy, which means he can start making things happen via Blinding Cloud or the pull, the get over here, as it were. 5 more drones coming out now for Barks. He's taking down these rocks as well. The question for Rath is he going to be able to pick off these Vipers? If Blinding Clouds land here and here, that effectively takes all of his tanks out of the fight. And there's enough firepower in this Zerg army to mow everything down. Actually, it looks like Rath is going to be the one that pushes on out here. Ooh, when will Barks see this? Looks like a little bit late. He might be able to circle around and hit it from 2 angles. Oh no. Oh no, Rath is not ready for this. Here the army comes. It's getting blindsided and it's getting blinded. Oh no. But these Hellbats actually creating just enough of a buffer, and all of this Roach Hydra only attacking from one side clumps up, and the tanks go merciless on all of that, along with the cloaked Banshees in the sky, uncontested. And now things are starting to look really dicey here for Barks. He's trying to get out more Roaches, but Roaches are honestly not going to be able to deal with this army. There's too many tanks, there's too many Banshees. And Rath splitting up, taking out 2 bases at once now. Vipers are out on the map, but he still needs Overseers. He can't see these Banshees, and these Banshees are just going to have a field day on everything that's on the ground here. Spreading out the tanks now is Rath. Doesn't want to get big Blinding Clouds dropped on his whole army, and I feel for Barks here. He played, I think, a really great game, but just a few small errors and, you know, maybe overcommitting to units have really put him in a tough spot now after that fight. A great pair of parasitic bombs there on the Banshees are going to Ooh, nice splits, actually. Very nice splits. I think that could have wiped out all the Banshees if he hadn't microed it, but Rath micros like a pro. And look at that. He's maxed behind this. GG is called. And Rath is going to go up 2-0 and put himself on match point. Another fun game for us here. I'm going to go to a quick break while we wait to get on into this third match, but stay tuned because we will be right back. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we are in for potentially our last game of the night, though I would not put all of my chickens in that basket, if that's even a saying. It is now, as Barks is going to be looking to claw himself back into the series in game number 3 here on Port Alexander. But this man is going to be the one that stands against him. It's the orange Terran player, the macro meching machine. It is Rathorn. Pause. As we zoom in on the command center, we can see that he is making SCVs. They are building. Woo, woo. And I will introduce Barks in the epic voice too after we resume the game, because it looks way cooler when things are moving. Okay, Barks is ready. And his opponent in the bottom right-hand corner. It is the man, the myth, the legend. The doctor of crazy builds. It is Barks. And, you know, I think that if you ask most people going into this series, they would have put Rathorn as definitely the favorite for this match, and maybe even his side of the bracket. Potentially. I mean, there's 4 good players there. Don't get me wrong. But, I mean, Rath is the highest ranked of them, and, you know, he's a very, very, very scary Terran player. So, one of the things that was actually said in between the breaks, and I feel bears mentioning by Rath, is he said, wow, it feels like I'm playing a higher ranked Zerg player right now. And I think that is worth taking a moment to commend Barks there, because from a technical standpoint, he played out a very smart ZVT versus mech, right? You had the opening with Mutalisks and initial aggression, something you want to do versus mech to delay that tank count. Then we had a follow-up push with the Roaches and Ravagers. You know, another smart thing to do. Your tank count is low initially. I want to stop it from growing and delay a push. That's a great way to do that. You know, I think that from a technical standpoint, he played that out brilliantly. I just think that a few of the decision makings, he maybe got a little bit stuck on making units. You know, if he drones up his fourth faster there, I think we see Barks kind of man mode one of the stronger Terrans, clearly, since he's in the round of 8, one of the best Terrans in this tournament. Um, and so I'm, like I said, Rath may be up 2-0, but I would not count Barks out just yet, as a few small adjustments to his play there, maybe taking a better fight at the end, and, you know, there's absolutely no reason that he can't take on a player of the caliber of Rath. But enough of me, you know, fanboying over these two players. Let's take a little bit more of a closer look at these builds and actually talk about them. Even though there's not a ton to talk about. It looks like it's about the same from both these guys. Still not pulling out of gas is Barks, and still doing his high ground CC into Reactor Hellion is Rath. And I want to see if Barks has the raw cojones to go for mutas again. That would just be okay. There's the lair. There's the lair. And the follow-up gas. You know, if the we follow suit of the previous games, we're going to see these two gas geysers go down momentarily. Let's see. Still no third base. I think this is what it is. Now, if we see a Roach Warren very soon, it still could be a Nidus build. Rath is going to take the low ground, but I'm waiting on it. I'm waiting on it. Still? Okay, so still no double gas at the natural, which leads me to believe that this might be a different build. I would guess Nidus, because I would think he would definitely get these follow-up 2 gases up. There they are. There they are. Okay, so maybe just a slightly different variation of that Muta opener, but I have to think that it's Mutas based on what we're seeing. You gotta expect it. But again, Rath, just a literal creature of habit. I'm gonna wait for my 6 Hellions and my Banshee, and I'm gonna push across the map with my Armory. There is the Spire, and 8 drones to follow this up, which does leave me slightly concerned for Barks here. Taking a look at the unit count, there's 4 Lings and 3 Queens on the map, and keep in mind one of those Queens is up in the main. So effectively 2 Queens, a few Lings, and a Spine. So if Rath goes across right now and does that same push that he's kind of done in the previous 2 games, oh, he's waiting to clear out the Overlord first, and then he's going to go, I think. Okay, Overlord gets driven off. Are you going to do it, Rath? Are you going to do it? The absolute mad lad. Can we see where both players go for the same thing every game? Still staying in his base. And I have to say, I question this decision from Rath very seriously. Part of getting on the map and you know, applying that pressure is to get the scouting information. And yes, he's going for blind turrets, so he's not going to get completely blindsided. But if he waits and he pushes out now, and he gets across the map and turns into Hellbats, I feel like, is the Spire done? The Spire's done. Ooh, a supply block from Barks, though, so he can't start mutas yet. Oh, no. That could actually be disastrous. I was going to say these mutas might be able to wipe this push, but they're actually just now starting. There's going to be a lot of them. 6 so far. But I think he might be limited by Larva. Yeah, not very many Larva. This, their base is going to go down, and now the Thors start behind this, so defensively Rath is going to be anchored. And is he going to pull back? Or yes, he's going to pull back with the Hellions and scout into the main with the Banshee. Definitely a more conservative play, but I think that's going to pay off for him. He's going to see these mutas coming, get 2 drones while he's at it. And I think he's put himself in a pretty good spot. He got that third, he got the information he needed, albeit very late. But that supply block just came at the worst time there for Barks. If he had those mutas quicker, he definitely saves that third base. And, you know, when you're doing a tech-oriented build, you're already delaying your economy a little bit. So I don't know. It's going to be, this one's, I think, is going to be a bit of an uphill climb here for Barks. We'll have to see if he's got it in him. The mutas are out. They're sharking around, looking for anything they can get picked off, but Rath getting this turret up by his production, keeping a Thor over there is really going to limit the damage potential of these mutas. What are they going to get? A depot? A nice pickup, but hardly worth the investment that he's put into this flock of mutalisks. Ooh, needs to be careful with those Vikings. Behind this, Barks is droning like a madman. He knows he needs this third base to be up and droned, and up and droning it will be soon, but... where does... okay, yeah, so the third CC is about to complete for Rath. And we are seeing an infestation pit and probably a hive going to come up here for Barks, as he's still looking for picks, but this same push that we saw could hit him once again. Is there a Roach Warren? There is. Oh, but he just now starts Roach speed. And here comes this push that we saw previously. Ooh, it's actually splitting in half. So maybe going to be able to get up. So, oh, the Mutas clump. They pick off a Viking, actually, very fortunately. But, oh, no, they run into the other Thor. Picking off some of it as it comes across the map is Barks. That's excellent play. That's what you want to do against a push like this, is try and whittle it down as it marches across, but I'm not sure he got quite enough of it. A ton of roaches coming out now. They don't have speed, but still, there's a lot of Thors here, and not... I don't know if there's going to be enough roaches. Rath smelling blood in the water, but is there enough blood for him to end this game right now? More and more roaches repositioning the spine crawler. Barks trying to buy every single second he can to get out as many roaches as possible, but he's decided now is the time. He dives in with the roaches. He distracts with the mutas. They're going to eat some of the shots. Oh, but they clump up a little bit, and the Thors manage to take out so many of them. Meanwhile, the Hellbats losing a fight with those roaches, but now the Thors turn their cannons on the roaches themselves. The supply staying even, but not good to be even on supply when you are playing with roaches. 17 roaches coming out. If Barks can just buy some more time, I think he should be able to hold this off. Oh, the roaches are kind of one at a timing in, and that's not what he needs right now. This spine crawler getting some damage done. Mules are being called down to repair these Thors, and repairing they are, but roaches coming in from every side trying to pick them off. It looks like 2 Thors will go down. That leaves only 2 remaining while these mules desperately try and repair, but these Thors are holding strong with that repair. Those mules so efficient at repairing. Every roach going down, and I think this might just be too much. He's probably going to try and focus down this hatchery as well. If he can get that, that is absolutely gutting to the economy of the Zerg player. More roaches getting caught in transition here, and Barks is spiraling out of control here as these 2 Thors just lay havoc to his bases. And here comes the follow-up. More Thors, more tanks, more Hellbats, even more SCVs for the repair. And I think that this might be lights out for Barks. He played a good series, but Rath, just the indomitable macro of this mech play, is going to overwhelm. GG, well played, and Rath is moving himself on to the round of 4. Well played there to both of our players. Wait. Yeah, okay, so they're gonna... looks like they're gonna actually go play some more practice games, which both those guys got a real penchant for playing and getting better. Yeah, congratulations to both of them for making the round of 8, and to Rath for moving himself on to the round of 4 even. Great play from both of them, and Rath, he's going to get another Zerg. We know that for sure in the next round, so be interesting to see what he brings to the table. But stay tuned here and at Gravity's stream and in the RSL Discord to find out when the rest of this round of 8 will go on. But for now, that's all I got for you. I would like to thank everybody for watching. If you haven't yet, drop a follow because I'm just that awesome. And have yourself a fantastic evening.